Yogi Clan, welcome back to Yogi's Cycle Service. Happy 4th of July. It is 4th of July. Happy birthday, America. But when you watch this video, probably a week or two later, but we are back here in the shop today. We have a whole new front suspension kit for this 2016 Road King. Customer, we were replacing the handlebars. He said, hey, why you got that whole front end? Do you mind replacing springs and shocks and forks in the front end? I said, sure, let's do it. So, this is the box that showed up at the house. I have no idea what he ordered. So let's open it up and find out. If you are new here to Yogi Cycle Service, I thank you for stopping by and checking out this channel. I hope this video helps you. I am Yogi. This is my garage, and here we fix motorcycles. We do product reviews. We do all kinds of motorcycle stuff and anything Yogi related. So if you are new here, I appreciate you stopping by and checking this out, and I would greatly appreciate it if you surf around the rest of my channel and check out some of my other videos. If you like what you see, do me a favor, give a brother some love, mash that subscribe button. If you are a returning subscriber, I thank you for stopping by. I hope you enjoy this video, and happy 4th of July. What do we got? LegendSuspensions.com. Let's see what Yogi's getting himself into, shall we? Ooh. Installation guide, nice. This is 04 part 0494, which would be the standard for 2014 to 2016 Harley-Davidson FLH touring models. Standard size, so it's not the lowered size. Oh, look at that. Man, those are some sweet instructions there. That'll look good. We will follow those. Let's see what these bad boys look like. It comes with 2 springs here and some V-twin fork oil, 20 weight. There she is. That's pretty. Let's figure out how to get these put in. So that's going to be the goal today. So here's the plan. It is 95 degrees on this July 4th in North Carolina, so I am not going to narrate this. We are going to run the fan because it is blasted hot down here. So I'll probably do a voiceover on this. These instructions, I will say, I am quite impressed with the instructions. So this is going to be a voiceover. I'll play a little bit of tunes in the background so you can enjoy it. I'll do a voiceover on it and we can work on watching how we put these in. First time I have changed, this will be the first time I've changed front forks. We're going to take the brakes, calipers off, take this wheel off, loosen up the pinch bolts, drop this down, tighten the pinch bolts back up, take the cap off, get it loosened up, and then we'll slide this fork the rest of the way out, pull everything apart and put those in. That's the basic game plan. So let's jump on in, and I will catch you at the end of this video. Let's turn on some tunes! Since we're gonna voice over this, YouTube won't be able to demonetize and block my video. Rascals! Rascals.
Connected to Tim's iPhone.
Alright y'all, let's get into this. First thing I'm going to do is pull the pinch bolt on the bottom. Same standard procedure as removing a tire for a tire change. Get the axle pulled out. Be sure to keep all your parts together in the right order. Then go ahead, and this bike has dual calipers. Get those calipers pulled off at each side of the bike. Safely tuck them away so they don't get damaged or scratch anything. And go ahead and lift that up, that way I can get the front wheel out. Go ahead and loosen up the 4 bolts, get his front fender pulled off. Just be careful of that paint. Now I'm going to go ahead and take off his front fork covers, loosen them up, let them drop down. Keep them out of the way. You can leave them on, but I prefer to take them off, that way they won't get damaged. Take a 19mm socket while the forks are still in the triple trees. Go ahead and just break those open, because you really need a vise to do that. I find it's just easier to keep them mounted, and go ahead and loosen those up while they're still in the triple trees. From there are 2 pinch bolts on the bottom and 1 pinch bolt on the top. You can loosen all those up, and you can go ahead and slide your fork out. forget to remove your fork cover so it doesn't get damaged or scratched. Just put those to the side. Next, you're going to want to get some plastic poly and a catch basin to catch the fork oil. It is messy, so I suggest putting poly on the floor so you don't make a mess. And these instructions, let me tell you, they are the bomb. So use them, use the internet, whatever you need to get the job done. 12 millimeter deep Allen is what I use to break that bolt free on the bottom of the fork. That bolt goes up into the damper tube. So you need to get that pulled out, and from there you can drain the fluids. Go ahead and let all that fall into the pan. Now, since you already have that top nut loosened up, you can go ahead and just take it out. Be sure to keep your hand over the top because it will pop off. It's under pressure. So keep your hand on the top, that way it doesn't pop off and hurt you. From here you can just pull the guts out of the inside, pull the springs out, pull that spacer out, get everything out from the inside, let all that oil drain down into the pan. Once you've got all the parts out, I would suggest pumping it a few times because there will be oil that's caught in there, and if you pump it a few times, that'll help push some of the oil out. Next, I took some brake clean to spray out the inside and get all that old oil and fluid out of there. Just let that drain on through the fork and into your pan. Kind of checking to make sure I got that it looked clean inside and I got everything out of there. Let's hit it with a little more, just to be sure. From here, I turn it over and do the same thing. Squirt it up through the back side. That way I make sure I get everything on the bottom of the fork out. Now I'm going to go ahead and test fit the Legend system in there, kind of see how it sits, how it fits, get my bearings. This fork on the right side of the bike rather, the fork cup that's in there doesn't fit the Legend system. They send you one fork cup. You'll see we'll swap that out here in a little while, but the other fork, you can go ahead and put that bolt in the bottom of it and just go ahead and bolt it right up. You do want to check there is a copper actually crush washer on there. Make sure you don't lose that. Make sure it's clean. You might even want to replace it. So here you can see I'm pulling apart the fork. That's on the right fork. I'm taking that cup out. I'm going to go ahead, you can see the cup sitting on the lift. I'm going to go ahead and swap it with a new cup. Legend suspension only comes with one cup. You only have to swap out one. Go ahead and pull the old seal off. You can see I have a PVC pipe. I wound up grinding down the end. It's a 2-inch PVC pipe. Grind up about 1 inch and it fits just perfect to let you tap and seat that washer in there. If you look, make sure you get it below the line because you need to also fit in the new gasket and also the snap ring that goes on the top. And let me tell you, that PVC pipe, you can get it for $6 at Lowe's, or you can spend the $30 and get the Harley tool. But the PVC pipe works just awesome. Just don't beat it too hard. You don't want to crush that seal. Now I'm going to go ahead and put the snap ring back on after I make sure it's seated below the level of where the ring needs to sit. And this fork will have a new cup in it and also a new seal. So it should be good to go. The other fork, that bike only has 17,000 miles on it, so I figured the seal on the other side is still good. And I didn't pull the fork apart. So since I kept the fork intact, we just left that other seal in there. Now with the new seal in, you can drop your suspension in there and go ahead and put in your bolt on the bottom. Use a torque wrench. Torque specifications are on the directions. Like I said, the directions are great. Just make sure you torque both the bottom bolt on that fork and also the top cap. I believe each one of these forks calls for 11.5 ounces. I put half of it in first, and then I would pump the fork to kind of burp the air out of it and then fill it up the rest of the way. You don't want to pour all of it in there at once because it'll probably overflow. So I would do half, pump it to burp the air out, and then put the other half of the fluid in, of the fork oil. With all the fluid in, with the air out, you can go ahead and twist that in there and seal it up. I waited to torque it down until I got the forks into the frame so I could use the pinch bolts again to torque that top nut down. And the same process with the other fork. So we're just going to get it tight, and then when it gets beyond too tight, we'll do it on the forks. So I'm putting the dust cover or the covers back on, the fork covers back on, slide it back up into the triple trees. Temporarily hold it with the pinch bolts. Bolt back on my covers. Now is when I'm going to torque it down on the top. 25 pounds. There you go. 25 pounds. I believe it's 35 on the bottom, but check your directions. Don't quote me. There we go. That side's torqued. And now do the same for the other side.
Legend suspension. Let's talk about that. So we just finished putting this Legend suspension on this bike, and I could test it out if we weren't doing 30 miles an hour on this country road. Okay, let's go. I was down at the Harley dealer. I was like, oh yeah man, Legend suspension is the best thing I've ever done to the bike. And then this past week I was talking to one of my brothers while we were together, and I mentioned that I was putting a Legend suspension system on this bike for a customer. He's like, oh man, he goes, that thing is so awesome. Because I put one on my Ultra, I love it. So I have heard nothing but awesome reviews. So I guess you could say you get what you paid for. The Legend suspension in the front here is adjustable too, based upon rider weight. When it comes to you, it is preloaded at what they call 0. And that is designed for somebody, I believe, 200 to 250 pounds. I believe, maybe it's 250 or 300, I don't know. Read the instructions, they're awesome. So I did give one full turn on this. So increase that pre-load just a little bit. I did only one turn. And here we go. And you know, so far it feels pretty darn good in the turns. I'm riding the bike now for about 20 minutes. It feels like it absorbs. It's a little stiff, but not too bad. It's definitely not as, you know, the the Harley stock springs are very squishy. There's a lot of bounce to them. This has definitely stiffened it up a little bit, made the ride a little stiffer, I believe, than what a standard Road King front fork shock would be. So I think you may feel a little bit more of the road, but where I hear these make a huge difference is like when you hit a pothole. You don't feel the potholes nearly as much, but maybe some of these little road bumps, yeah, you may feel them a little more because it's a little bit stiffer, but I heard it absorbs those potholes pretty darn good. And so far it seems like it's performing really well on the turns. So as long as my forks aren't leaking when I get home, I'd say we're pretty good. It's really not that hard. I was really pretty impressed. Really not a hard product to install. Does take about, I would give yourself, with taking apart everything on the top, I would give it 4 hours. But give yourself an hour to tear everything down, and then 3 hours to pull the forks apart and put it back together. So all in, start to finish, about a 4-hour project. But overall, I would say this suspension is a pretty sweet suspension. It feels really pretty good, and is something I will definitely consider when putting my Fat Boy together. It's going to be between this suspension and Progressive, one of the two. It really, what's going to make the difference is really what I can probably afford. And since I did a video showing you how to do a Legends, hey, maybe we could showing you how to do a video with the Progressives. That way you got both. You can make your own choice. So hopefully Big D will leave some comments after he watches this video, let you know, because it's his bike. He knows it way better than I do, and hopefully he can leave some feedback below. And look for feedback from, I believe his YouTube name might be Carolina Rider. So if you want to know what his thoughts are, because this is his bike, look down below for comments from Carolina Rider. Hopefully he watches this video and throws some up there for you and let you know what his thoughts and impressions are. Alright y'all, thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Go ahead, give a brother some love, smash that subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next video. Alright y'all, peace. Oh, here come the twisties. Beautiful, beautiful. Wish I could go through it a whole lot faster than this.